So this is missing angles. So far we've done everything when it was just basic, what's the value? And this time it is in relationship with algebra. So because we're talking mostly about angles today, the picture that I'm going to draw is just for angles. So we have our parallelogram. Remember that in a parallelogram, Darcy, opposite angles are congruent. So the ones that are across from each other are congruent. But the second thing about parallelograms is consecutive angles, that means one right after another, consecutive angles are supplementary. So these and these and these and these all add to be 180 degrees. So in pairs, the two on the left, the two on the top, the two on the right, and the two on the bottom, in pairs equal 180 degrees. So if I give you one angle, you have enough information to find the other three, either because you know that they're the same. One of the angles has to be the same as the one that I gave you, and one of the angles has to be supplementary. Remember that in the instructions, it has to say either by markings or in words that the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. It can't just be because it looks like it. It has to be because either it has the symbols for parallel lines or because it says this is a parallelogram. So when we look at the first question, I'm asking you to find three different things. X, angle A, and angle B. So I need to find both of those things, plus X. So the first place to start generally is X, because I'm going to need that to find everything else. So what relationship do these two have? Angle A is congruent to angle C. So they equal each other. So then I can just write 4x plus 11 equals 6x minus 15. That equation is the reason that I'm having you do a formative for equations regularly, to make sure that you can solve equations. Like, it's just important. You have to be able to do it. So we're going to subtract 6x from both sides. So we get negative 2x plus 11 equals 15. Minus 11 minus 11. Negative 2x equals 4. Did I do that right? Nope, that's supposed to be minus 15. No wonder that looked wrong. So that's negative 24. Nope, 6. Can't even subtract today. And then when we divide by 2, x is positive 13. But that's only the first answer. Now I've got to do some more math. So I need A. So I'm going to come over here and go, okay, well, that's 6 times 13 minus 15. All I did was substitute the x in. So that gives me 63. What do these two together need to equal? 180, right? Those are consecutive angles. So I can say 180 minus 63 is 117. So that's angle B. So angle A is 63 degrees and angle B is 117 degrees. This is complex in that I'm asking you to do several different steps. McKenna, put your phone away. But I'm only asking you to do a little bit of actual calculation. The equation is probably the hardest part number-wise, but you do have to know which angles are congruent and which angles are supplementary. When we look at B, this time I'm asking you to find angle R, and I don't even have anything listed as angle R. So then I have to know what this relationship is. This relationship is supplementary. That means that I can say 8x minus 12 plus 3x plus 5 equals 180. So then 8 plus 3, that's 11x, minus 12 plus 5, that becomes negative 7, equals 180. Add 7 to both sides. 11x equals 187. Then we divide, and x is 17. Now I asked to find angle R, so that means we're going to have to do something else. So how can I find angle R? I can do it two ways. I can either know that this relationship is 180 degrees, or I can know that this relationship is congruent. I like that one better. So I'm going to say 3 times 17 plus 5 is 56. 56 degrees. And now I know that these two are the same, so angle R is 56 degrees. So first you had to know that these two could be supplementary, and then I had to know that opposite angles were congruent and substitute with my x value. This time I only give you one number, but remember we have a relationship with all of those angles. So it doesn't matter which one we start with, I'm going to get 3 different equations. So if I take 114, what relationship does that have with the x thing, with the expression that has an x in it? They are equal. So this equals negative x minus 7. That's it. All I got to do is solve for that. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Negative x equals 121. But then what do I have to do? How do I get rid of that negative in front of the x? There's an invisible 1 right here that's being multiplied, so then we're going to divide by negative 1. So negative 121 is x. Now what relationship do I have between z and 114? Together they have to equal 180. So then I can say 114 minus z minus 5 equals 180. Negative z plus 109 equals 180. Negative z equals is that 60 something?
56.
Oh, 71. So then when we divide, I get z equals negative 71. Now, just because the numbers are negative, it just means that the variable is negative. And actually, since it's negative, we'll look at x. Negative x, that's a negative 121, which becomes positive 121. So just when you get a negative number, just substitute it back in and make sure that it works for your problem. Not all negatives or not all decimals are wrong. You just got to verify it. Let's do the last one. So to find y, I can do a couple things. I can either say that these are congruent, or I can say that these are supplementary. That one works better for me. 114 plus 5y minus 9 equals 180. 5y plus 105 equals 180. Divide by or subtract 105 minus 105. Five y equals 75, and then we divide y equals 15. So there are 3 steps to that problem, but they're not 3 difficult steps. They just require an extra process. Each of the steps individually is easy. You just have to remember to do all 3 of them. I'm going to give you the answers for this one. And you're going to see if you can set up the equations. I'm going to give you a minute. So take a second and see if you can figure out how I got those answers for the questions. So first, how can you find y? What can you do with y and the only number I have? What can you do with x and the only number I have? And what can you do with z? Like, what relationships do those parts have? First, I have the 68 and the y are congruent. So that's where that equation comes from. Then, I know that these two are supplementary. So then I have 68 minus x plus 6 equals 180. These two different angles equal 180. And the last one is that these angles equal 180. So 68 minus 6z plus 10 equals 180. So then you can go through those steps and find the values for x, y, and z. All right, now let's look at the last two. These are still angles, but they involve the diagonals, so we just have to pay attention to what that means. So let's start with where this angle is, JLH. So JLH is the big angle. So that means this big angle is the same thing, right? These are both 134. What does that mean the two small angles are? The whole thing. This angle is 180 minus 134, which is 46. So this blue piece is 46 degrees. Now you have to recognize something about alternate interior angles. I can't set these two equal to each other because they're not. So you have to recognize that this piece is the same as this piece, and this piece is the same as this piece. So what I think is easier is, since the blue angle is 46, 46 minus 25 equals 21. That's this angle. And now my two purple angles are congruent. So now I can say that 4x plus 9 equals 21. So now I can subtract 9 and get 4x equals 12, and then divide, and I get x equals 3. So in order, first we had to figure out what the blue angle was. Then we had to find the other half of that angle, and then we could solve for x. Okay, last one. So ABC, that's ABC, that's this big angle, is 115. You have to recognize that this piece and this piece are the same, and then this piece and this piece are the same. Those are alternate interior angles. They are congruent between parallel lines. This is a parallelogram. So what that means is, notice that purple has an expression and orange has an expression. So that means I can just put this one up here. So now I have two things that I know equal 115. So I can say 4x plus 6 plus 6x minus 11 equals 115. 4 plus 6 is 10x, plus 6 minus 11 is minus 5 equals 115. Add 5, 10x equals 120. Divide, x is 12. But that's not what I asked you to find. So I'm asking you to find ABD. So A, B, D, that's this angle, which is this. So then I just have to substitute. 4 times 12, 4 times 12 plus 6, that's 48 plus 6, that's 54 degrees. So first we had to do all the relationships. Notice where the colors alternate. They're across the line from each other. Those are alternate interior angles. That's an expression that, or a situation and relationship you need to recognize on a parallelogram. And then we could say, okay, well, those two things are the same. So now I can add them together to get 115 and solve for x and then substitute back in. Okay?